Hey, how's everyone doing? It's Indiana Lang. I'm the editor-in-chief of Home Theater Review. Well, today we're going to be talking about Sonos' app redesign. So, Sonos recently announced they are redoing their app yet again. Not too uncommon for Sonos to continually redo their app. They do it once every couple of years, if not sooner. Always pushing out, new updates here and there. They have the S1 app, S2, they have some older gear, kind of, their stuff is so good that it oftentimes it still works. I've got stuff that's like 10 years old now. I think it almost going on 11 years now, and it still works fine. Now I can use that in S2 now, which is cool. I know some of the older stuff than that still uses the S1 app, and a lot of people just keep using the stuff till it dies. And I mean, I am a CI installer myself. I've probably done 700 Sonos installs now in the 15 years I've been doing this now. It's a mass amount of Sonos. I've only ever seen 2 units actually quit, on their own. And even my stuff I got 7 zones. I've sold some of it though recently, but I had 7 zones at the height of my Sonos usage, and I have never had a single Sonos piece of hardware go down ever. It's always been really rock solid. But I will say the Sonos app interface, honestly, I thought they perfected it back in like 2015, if you ask me. It was super simple, always worked. There's been some hiccups, with things going on recently with Sonos. This isn't Sonos's fault, but one of the new Apple updates on the iPhone actually caused a ton of issues with some of the Sonos systems, where Apple basically had this allow app on the network little setting there, and by default it was not allowed. So you would update your iPhone, you would then end up going, to play your Sonos, and it says Sonos not found. The first one I went to service call wise in that one, I had to call up Sonos, and they said, "Hey, check out this setting. We're seeing this a ton right now." And that was the fix. You just turn that back on to, hey, there you go. And it worked. And I probably did service calls for the next 2 months, basically just doing that exact same fix. I still do run into it a few times for clients that maybe say haven't had an iPhone. Now they go to iPhone, and then it automatically does that, right in their Sonos system that they've had working for 8 years now perfectly, and then it stops working there. So I've seen that happen before. Not Sonos' fault, but it's just one thing that can cause Sonos to stop working. So they're talking about, making a significant overhaul to the S2 mobile app, which, I wish they would just call it, here's the Sonos app. And I don't know why they can't merge them into both. I'm not an app designer, so I don't know. But if they could merge S1, S2 into one app, that'd be awesome. That having 2 different apps, sometimes is not really, great, from a Sonos standpoint. So there's clients that got older stuff, newer stuff. It's confusing sometimes which one you actually need. So anyways, they're talking about getting rid of the tabs, kind of making it very simple, talking about just, search for something and you go. Very cool if they could actually do that. Other than that, though, Sonos stuff has been getting definitely more and more expensive as we go now. So I'm kind of curious, guys, to hear your thoughts. We'll leave the comments. I'd love to answer them. But what you think of Sonos getting more expensive? Are we seeing, better performance from Sonos? I think the newer stuff sounds great. Compared to some of the older stuff we've saw, that it sounds, I think, really, really good. But is it worth the price jump at times? I know when I've got some clients that say have, 7 zones of audio, that they were running, the older Sonos amps or the Connect amps, if we wouldn't go back far enough, and they say, hey, I want to upgrade this, the newest stuff, how much is it going to cost? And you tell them it's $600-700 a zone, and they've got 8 zones. They are kind of a little bit taken aback, like, whoa, that's going to be really expensive. And yeah, unfortunately, that is going to be really expensive. That's before labor, of course. That's just the parts alone. So new app update, of course, as we see some of the hardware stuff, they're working out some of the kinks here and there, as we see, Apple Android stuff has happened over the years, of course. But a key new feature, like I talked about, is that improved search functionality, which serves as the primary method for finding content. And they're doing this new web app, which allows you to control your Sonos from remotely with internet access. Kind of cool. I've always kind of wanted to do that. I kind of like, that it only works when you're on the Wi-Fi, because then, of course, you can't control it when you're not near your Sonos system. I think that's not a bad idea to have, the web app. Um, for some clients, though, it might create some confusion that own multiple homes, and they're saying, which Sonos system am I on? I've seen that happen a number of times. For some of my clients that have that, I say, hey, keep an iPad at each home that you have Sonos and just use that iPad. Don't set up on your iPhone, because if you go to your one house, house A, it works. You go to house B, it says, hey, I can't find that Sonos system. And it says, hey, would you like to try to find it and then redo the system, which I've had happen. And client calls me and says, hey, I redid that system and now it doesn't work anymore, and my system A doesn't work. It kind of creates a big headache at times there. But some of this thing is removal of the tabs, period of adjustment. I can definitely see that happening, definitely for what Sonos is trying to do there. But I wish Sonos would just take a couple steps back, go simpler with it. They're definitely a company that, they are software first, audio second. I think that's kind of how it's always been for Sonos. And take it simpler. I'm not saying, make it cheaper, but at times, some of the stuff is, for myself personally, I'm kind of switching over to different brands. I don't want to say which brands just yet, because I've been trying out a couple of them to see which one I can use to replace Sonos. But I'm down to just a Sonos soundbar now. I'm kind of put off by how expensive the stuff has been getting. I will say that, and it's not necessarily very easy to move stuff. I wish there was just simple options to, plug and play the stuff. Like, I don't want it to be on my network at times. I want to be able to just, plug it into my TV via, HDMI or, digital, and be able to just go at times. I don't necessarily need to have it on my Wi-Fi. That's just me personally at times when I'm, moving stuff around, trying to figure out stuff, and it disconnects, reconnects. You got to figure some stuff out there. It's just one of those things, like it's a little fussy at times, but not a big deal there. But I like to see some stuff, really, it has a lot of value to it, but it's hard to move it around. I'm doing a lot of RV right now, cruising around, doing a lot of traveling, and Sonos is, at times near impossible to use with an RV as I, get onto different Wi-Fi systems that, each area has. It just doesn't work. I'm not resetting my Sonos up every single time. If I don't have 2.4, it's going to be an issue there. I could do a Wi-Fi system in my RV itself, but I really have no need because every place I've been to has Wi-Fi. So it's really becoming a bit of an issue there for me. And I'm curious what else is out there is my big thing. Is there other sound bars I can, use? I will say I've been looking at some Edifier stuff, doing some reviews on, and I think some of the stuff sounds better than the like the Play Ones. I have to call them. I know they've got a couple different names for them. They've updated the model a number of times. I still call them the Play Ones. I know someone just calls them the Ones at times. I think moved to something else now too. I don't remember what it's called, but they keep updating the stuff all the time. It's always fun what they're doing there. But guys, let me know your comments. Love to hear it. Sonos is always changing. I think they've made a few mistakes, in my opinion. Stuff's getting expensive. App is getting a little more confusing. It's not as simple as it used to be, but we'll see what they do. I'm kind of curious to hear your thoughts on that one. Just kind of just my thoughts, what's going on with Sonos. Just kind of want to talk about Sonos. They're definitely an interesting company. When you don't really care about the audio so much, when you just want it to work, is what I like to say about Sonos. That's what Sonos does really, really good at. So guys, thanks for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and check us out at hometheaterreview.com.